YouTube, what's going on? This is Kevin the Tech Ninja, and today we're going to compare one of the best budget phones you can buy. And when I say budget phone, I don't mean the specs are budget, but I mean the actual price is budget versus the Galaxy S8. Now, the Galaxy S8 just came out, and it's seen as the best Android phone out right now. And as far as the price too, it is up there compared to other Android phones. But the OnePlus 3T has a lot of tricks up its sleeve, but are these tricks enough to beat the Galaxy S8? I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and let's find out. The Galaxy S8 is straight up gorgeous. Right from when you pick it up, it feels like a true next generation device. The reduced bezels, its infinity display, and the premium glass and metal build makes it stand out from the crowd. But the OnePlus 3T is definitely no slouch. Its unibody metal construction too looks very premium, feels great in the hand, but when you look at it from the front, just everything looks old compared to the Galaxy S8. Now, both phones do have their usual power and volume rockers as well as a headphone jack, but they also have additional hardware. The OnePlus 3T has this alert slider, and this alert slider allows you to go between different sound profiles without even accessing the phone, which comes in handy if you're in a meeting or anything like that and you want to quickly put your phone on silent. You can definitely do that. In the Galaxy S8, well, it has this thing called Bixby, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you.
This year, Samsung has done away with the traditional home button up front to keep the bezels to a minimum, but the OnePlus 3T still has the home button, but also doubles as a fingerprint sensor. Now, there's no doubt that the 3T's fingerprint sensor is up there with one of the fastest ones available. It is super fast and very, very accurate. And the Galaxy S8 does have a fingerprint scanner, but it is towards the top of the phone next to the camera and is not that easily accessible. But we've talked about this before. Everyone has talked about it. I'm not going to harp on it, but Samsung does provide you with multiple ways to get into your phone. There's the iris unlock, the face to unlock, and of course you have pin and swipe as well. Now for me, iris unlock and face to unlock, they're both really fast, and I prefer face to unlock, but I'm doing that a lot more. I'd say about 80% of the time I'm using my face to unlock my device, and about 20% of the time I'm actually just typing in my PIN number. My finger does not go up to the fingerprint sensor at all. It's just difficult, and it's just, to me, it's just not convenient. Now, when you consider the Galaxy S8 Plus actually had that and ended up returning it, it was very tough to get to the fingerprint scanner. I found myself shifting my hand up to the top to get to the fingerprint scanner. Instead of just naturally using my phone as I normally do, I had to actually make a maneuver and consciously move my hand to get to it, which became a huge inconvenience for me, and one of the reasons I actually returned it. But the same tall form factor has helped Samsung pack a 5.8-inch display on the Galaxy S8. It's Quad HD AMOLED panel, but it is set to Full HD Plus for some reason out of the box. Now, I found myself keeping it on Full HD because the screen pretty much looks the same to me. When you do put it on Quad HD resolution, you are going to lose around 10 to 15% of battery life, and to me, that just wasn't worth the compromise. But the screen just looks good regardless. It has an infinity display and very sharp images, and you get a very immersive experience. But it has that different 18.5 aspect ratio. And that means regular 16:9 content will show up with black bars on the side. Now, you can scale them in, but you are losing detail from the top and bottom. Also, I do have to mention that some devices do have sort of a red hue on the display. Looks like Samsung is working on a fix for it, but as of this video right now, that is still an issue for a lot of people. And this is where the 3T's traditional HD display comes into play. It has a traditional 16:9 ratio. It also has a great AMOLED display, but it doesn't look as good as Samsung's display. Something just doesn't really pop like Samsung does. To complete the experience, you gotta have some good audio. Both phones have mono speakers that shoot towards the bottom, and although both speakers I think are good, the S8 is a lot better than the S7, I still think the OnePlus 3T is slightly better compared to the S8. Now let's get nerdy and talk about some specs, because you guys want to hear about the specs. The Galaxy S8 has the latest and greatest octa-core Snapdragon 835 processor at 2.35 GHz with 4 GB of RAM. Now, of course, when using the phone, you're not going to run into any lag at all, and it does everything I need, and it does it very well. With that being said, the OnePlus 3T with its quad-core Snapdragon 821 processor at 2.35 GHz and 6 GB of RAM is not slow by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it is one of the fastest Android phones out there. That's because Oxygen OS is optimized on top of Android 7.0. A lot of times when you hear about skins that are getting pushed out from manufacturers, it becomes a hindrance and slows things down. The OnePlus 3T's Oxygen OS does not slow down at all. It does not slow down Androids. It actually looks to be as a complement on top of Android versus a hindrance on top of Android, which is huge. So kudos to the OnePlus team of making great software. Now the Galaxy S8 also runs Android 7.0 Nougat, but it's skinned with TouchWiz. Look, TouchWiz has a bad rap. We all know that, but it is much cleaner this year. And I really like how Samsung has gone for that Apple-esque 3D Touch home button. And I really like what Samsung is doing with TouchWiz this year. It gets better every single year. It seems like they're backing off and allowing Android to be Android. But there definitely is a few more applications on that I would like, and especially if you factor in the carrier applications. I mean, you end up with about 2 pages of applications when you first turn the phone on. But regardless, you can go in and disable them. You can go in and uninstall them. So it's really not a big deal, and I'm actually enjoying Samsung software. With that being said, I did have to swap the launcher out because I wanted something more of a stock Android experience, so I did install Nova Launcher, and even after installing Nova Launcher, I felt that the phone became just that much faster. So let's get into the camera. One of the features that is extremely important to a lot of people out there. The primary camera on the 3T is 16 megapixels and does 4K video. It has some really good electronic stabilization, and it can take some very good pictures in the day, and actually has surprised me at night. Now the S8 has a slightly upgraded 12 megapixel camera from last year, and this also has the fastest autofocus available and added image processing to make low lights even better. Now I prefer the S8 in terms of 4K video because of optics image stabilization, but where the OnePlus 3T is better is the front-facing camera for sure. The 16p on the 3T covers way more detail, and it comes true to life compared to the 8 megapixel camera on the S8. And I've been saying this about Samsung, it seems like beauty mode is always turned on, and it makes my skin look so soft and everything and so supple, and I don't like that. A lot of phones are doing that. It seems like beauty mode is always turned on. It always makes your skin super silky smooth, and I don't need that. I exfoliate. But one thing with the S8 versus the 3T that a lot of people may not agree with me is that the S8 images are not really true to life. They add in more color, but it ends up looking better. Like, I really like the punchy colors. I like how it looks. The 3T doesn't give you that artificial color. It just gives you a nice raw image, and the 3T grabs in a ton of detail while the S8 kind of airbrushes over details. So as far as what camera is more accurate, the 3T is way more accurate, but for me, what camera is better? The S8 is better. Fastest autofocus around, and the pictures just come out looking great. And to complete the comparison, there is battery life. The 3000 milliamp battery on the S8 or the 3500 milliamp battery on the S8 Plus drives a more powerful PC, a richer display than the OnePlus 3T's 3400 milliamp battery. The 3T gives you phenomenal battery life, and there's nothing bad to say about it. You also have dash charging, which is the fastest charging around. It is faster than the S8's Quick Charge 2.0, and this charges over USB Type-C. Now, the OnePlus 3T does not have wireless charging, as the S8 does have wireless charging too. But as far as like raw battery life, I've seen some of the most extended battery life I've seen on the Galaxy S8, but I had to make some adjustments first. Out of the box, the 3T's battery is better, but with the S8, with my tweaks, I was able to get some really extreme, crazy battery life. We're talking 6 to 7, even sometimes 8 hours of screen on time. So I'm gonna make a video about Galaxy S8 tweaks to get best battery life, but until then, just know that with the S8, you can get some crazy battery life, things that I've never seen before. So there you go. The S8 will set you around $800 for 64 gigabytes of storage with the micro SD card slot. while the OnePlus 3T retails for $439 with 64 gigabytes of storage and no micro SD card slot. I think the OnePlus 3T remains the ideal mid-range option, checking all the boxes for great user interface and battery backup, but that's about it. The Galaxy S8 really shines with its futuristic design, build, raw processing power, the camera, and that gorgeous screen real estate. Comes in very, very handy when you're watching media and everything like that. But is it worth the extra money? Personally, I can't see myself paying double for a phone if I don't utilize all the features. The Galaxy S8 is like the default. If you have the money to buy a phone and you don't want an iPhone, you're gonna default over and get a Galaxy S8. And it's definitely not a bad thing. But if you're someone who's an enthusiast, you wanna tweak, you wanna really get the most out of your phone, then I would say get the OnePlus 3T and save a lot of money in the process. Anyways, guys, I'm Kevin, the Tech Ninja. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
KTTN, say it again. Tell a friend that it's him again. Yo, real talk, opinions gon' be sharper than 4K. Scope squad, eat it up, simmer it, saute. Ninja got reviews and brands galore. You ain't never seen a channel like this before. No hashtag.